Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm AmandaMuse, and today we're going to be reacting to the new normal in Malaysia. It's my understanding that lockdown is now over, and I'm curious to see what life is like going back into the world, because I can gather from a lot of you who have messaged me that you've also been staying safe at home for the last few months. And what is life looking like? And I'd love to see, while comparing it to what my life is like here in Canada, as we go through this reaction, I'll be sharing elements of what life is like here in comparison to what I see. Also, if you're new, I would love it if you would stick around and subscribe. I'm putting out 4 videos a week from varying topics, and I'd love for you to be here. There are some videos that I've located up in the eye, and you can check those out, links below, in case you're curious about some other videos that I've reacted to. Okay, so we're going to get into this video. It's my understanding that it is not in English, so I'm just going to do my best to decipher. I do not speak Malay, nor do I speak Indonesian, and I think that this person might also be Indonesian. Okay, let's do it.
Dan mencatat untuk waktu check-in atau check-out, umumnya seperti itu, sama harus pakai hand sanitizer. Dan kalau kamu nggak pakai masker, umumnya nggak diperbolehkan untuk.
So far, I'm already seeing many, if not all the people wearing masks. We're going to get to that because this is a problem here in North America. It's a whole thing. I'm also seeing, instead of just thermostat taking their temperature, they're getting like a full body scan. So that's interesting. All right, let's keep moving. I've been to the pavilion in KL. This is always kind of fun. If you're new to my channel, I lived in Malaysia for 4.5 years. I lived in KL for a little bit, and then we moved to Penang. So it's always exciting to see what's going on.
Untuk sobat pejalan yang sedang menonton video ini, dukung channel kami dengan klik tombol subscribe, klik lonceng untuk mendapatkan notifikasi video baru, klik like, comment, and...
Hold on. So there's a person at the grocery store, mask, gloves, and spraying down the shopping cart. Already, that's a bonus. Oh, did you see that? In the washrooms, there was the space between the urinals, which is amazing, to keep distance between people.
Gimana sih penerapan new normal atau social distancing yang ada di mall-mall di Malaysia? Yuk, ikuti perjalanan kami. New normal bukan berarti kembali ke normal seperti sebelum pandemi COVID-19 mewabah, melainkan sebuah. Nah, umumnya semua tempat.
Similar to here in Canada, like pretty much wherever you go, parks, malls, like on the front door, everything, there are the safety protocols, safety measures that they're hoping that you take, and reminding you that COVID-19 is a real thing. So that's everywhere, same as here. But like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Like everyone is wearing a mask. I know why I'm being so sassy about that is because it is a whole thing. Like, people in the West don't want to wear masks. We're convinced there's so many people are convinced it's a conspiracy. Then you've got the school of thought that like you're not getting enough oxygen. Then you've got people who just don't like being told what to do. It's all very strange to me. I don't understand. Just wear the mask. What's the problem? You know? Like, anyway, moving on. Let's keep watching.
Contoh pengen masuk ke Uniqlo, harus ngantri dulu karena di dalamnya dijatahin maksimal berapa orang saja gitu. Untuk contohnya, Uniqlo di sini hanya 70 customer saja.
You know, and similar to here, you can see like a limit of 70 customers in the store, the people waiting outside the store. It's the same thing here. You know, hand sanitizer, masks, keep your distance, try to pay with like types of payment where you're not exchanging cash, right? So all very similar.
Mall maupun gedung ikut berpartisipasi dalam sosialisasi. Ini contoh sosialisasi untuk menjaga.
Interesting. 1 meter distance. I wonder if that's just the new protocol, because as far as I've heard, it's always been 2 meters, but I would imagine that it's just getting more and more difficult for people to actually stay distant, especially when you have higher populated areas, right? Like more densely populated, that's going to be trickier to keep your distance from people. This is different, so they're actually getting, it looks like, Temperature scan. I wonder if they're somehow tracking people with phones. Interesting. Outside of the mall. So that's different than what we're doing here. So far, like in my area, the mall is kind of open. There's like one of the fast food restaurants that's available, just a couple of stores that are open inside, and I haven't been back for about 2 weeks, so that may have changed even since then.
Ini adalah gambaran pelaksanaan new normal di Malaysia, di mana kita wajib untuk cek suhu, balik dengan termometer. Hal yang umum, kita wajib registrasi.
Okay, what is this? Scan or fill out the form. So CMCO. Let me read it because there is English writing here. So, all customers are required to provide personal information while entering the mall to be in compliance with the latest CMCO regulations by the Malaysian government. So what I gather from this, so you get a temperature screening, you scan the code so that they can register and essentially track your whereabouts is what I'm gathering, so that should there be an outbreak that stemmed from someone at that mall, they can then be in touch with you to let you know. So interesting. And I know that this side of things is really tricky. I'm not going to speak for everybody in the West, but I know that a lot of people are feeling like Big Brother is watching and that you're giving up too much personal information and that it's too much, like I don't know. I understand that school of thought that you feel like you're being tracked and that's like a frightening thing. But actually, I also understand the other side of it that's like, this is an airborne respiratory illness. Well, airborne might not be the right word, but it is a respiratory illness. And like, if someone's had it in a mall and a place that I have just frequented, I would like to know. You know what I mean? So I think this is great. I think this is absolutely great.
Masuk ke sebuah gedung atau bangunan.
Same thing as us, the tape on the floor to keep the distance. Oh my God, Mr. DIY, I love that store. We used to have one in Penang. We used to go there all the time. It's basically like a catch-all dollar store, but not a dollar store. This is something that is so confusing to me. So you see here the store clerk, mask, gloves, the whole thing, who's taking the temperature, who obviously is being exposed to so many people. For some reason, in so many stores that I've been to here in Canada, I live in Ontario, so many of the clerks are not wearing masks. Now, many of them are, but honestly, I feel like it's 50% of the store clerks are not wearing masks or gloves, and I don't get it. Like, in my mind, discomfort of wearing a mask does not override the risk of coronavirus. So it's very strange to me why people would voluntarily take that risk. Obviously, it goes without saying, like I had somebody message me today on Instagram saying, oh, that there's like all of these people who have health reasons why they can't wear masks. Got it. I'm not referring to those people. I'm referring to people that can be wearing a mask and should be wearing a mask, not just for your own personal safety, but for the safety of vulnerable members of your community. Why are we not all getting this? This is what I don't get. Like everybody I've seen, I swear I've only seen like 2 people without a mask in the last 3.5 minutes, and there's been a lot of areas that this particular YouTuber has panned over. So, yeah. Moving on. Side note, if you've never been to Malaysia, ooh, you are missing out. Malaysia has some of the most beautiful malls I've ever been to. So clean. So many amazing stores. So much good food. Just in the mall. It's like a sanctuary, honestly. Like, are you seeing this? Everybody's wearing a mask.
Fase 1, di mana kesehatan menjadi prioritas tertinggi. Fase selanjutnya yaitu PKPP.
Oh, that was neat. So outside the Bath and Body Works, they had, you know, like the line so people can line up and keep their distance. That's pretty interesting.
Terus untuk kawasan zona merah, yaitu diperketat gerakannya hingga sampai dijaga oleh tentara dan dikelilingi kawat berduri.
Oh, that's cool. You see that on the circular bench? They've got the big placement cards so that people are forced to stay distant. I like it.
Fase pelonggaran, ketika wabah mulai menurun, dikenalkan dengan istilah PKPP, yaitu perintah kawal pergerakan bersyarat, namun wajib menerapkan protokol kesehatan.
Oh my goodness, it's seriously bringing back memories to see all these stores like Caring and Watson, and it's just, yeah, it's wild. Drugstore, a lot like our Shoppers Drug Mart here in Canada.
COVID-19. Untuk sampai tahap pelonggaran dan new normal.
Okay, so we're moving to the food court. Let's see how they're doing it inside.
Awal, yaitu kekonsistenan pemerintah membuat kebijakan, mensosialisasikan dan menegakkan kebijakan tersebut, serta kesadaran masyarakatnya untuk proaktif melakukan social distancing.
Here's what I like about this so far. So they're showing you the regular mall, the food court. Like going to the mall and these kinds of things, it's quite a fun thing to do in your regular life, but also especially when you've been isolating at home and haven't been out. It's air conditioned, there's lots to see, lots of little shops you can peruse, food to eat, and I love that, you know, instead of looking at the negative side of it, which is like, oh, you know, we've got to take our temperature, we have to scan this thing to say our whereabouts, you get to be out, you get to be enjoying the food at the mall. It's just going to look a little different for a while.
Di video sebelumnya, yaitu penerapan new normal, protokol kesehatan di mall, retail, restoran, dan food court.
Hand sanitizer everywhere.
Protokol kesehatan di pasar tradisional, pasar grosir maupun di supermarket.
Temperature.
Kini hasilnya mulai terlihat dari kurva yang telah melandai. Pemerintah Malaysia pun mulai melonggarkan peraturan untuk menggerakkan ekonomi, serta melakukan registrasi ketika masuk ke sebuah tempat toko gedung menjadi hal yang normal.
I like that he's showing different types of shopping places as well, because there are definitely more high-end grocery markets like there are in your neighborhood, depending where you live in Canada or in the West. But again, at the end of the day, it's the same. You're getting a temperature, you're getting the hand sanitizer, and every single person is wearing a mask. What is so hard about that? And another thing, you know, talking about the differences between Canada and Malaysia, someone I know who was recently in Vietnam brought up an excellent point. It was that, you know, in Vietnam, masks are accessible. They're everywhere. So if you need a mask, you know where to buy one. Here in Canada, it's not that easy. And we ran out of masks, for one. Things like cloth masks, if you are not skilled in making them, P.S. I don't make stuff like that, so I had to buy mine, and the ones that I bought were pretty expensive, and that's not, you know, not every family can afford to do that. So it's a little tricky in that sense of like, if you're going to enforce, which they haven't, by the way, the government is not enforcing people to wear masks, but if you are hoping that people are, you need to have masks available for the people. So it's a really like, it's a tricky subject, honestly. Shouldn't be, but it is.
Bahkan dia ngasih tag ini guys, kalau lulus pengecekan baru boleh masuk. Untuk golongan ini ya,
Daiso, I love that store.
Dia dikasih tempat khusus gitu, jadi nggak perlu ngantri. Dia boleh, kalau darurat dia boleh masuk tanpa ngantri. New normal akan menjadi kebiasaan yang umum, mengantri untuk masuk ke suatu tempat. Karena semua kapasitas sebuah tempat dibatasi.
Sorry, that's funny. Like that guy just turned around like, what's happening? I do have to appreciate the what's the word of the confidence of this YouTuber to just film random people. Like, I'm really respectful of people's privacy, so I just don't do that. But I mean, I enjoy seeing the content, so it works well for us.
Diperbolehkan untuk beroperasi. Ada pengecualian seperti karaoke, bioskop, arena permainan,
playgrounds are closed. I'm not sure what's happening there, but it looks like a lot of smaller businesses are still closed. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. MRT, like on their transit system. Look at that. I've been wondering how it's going to work for public transit. I personally don't have to take public transit, but so many people rely on it, so. That is very empty, just so we're all clear. Like, I've taken a lot of public transport in Malaysia. That is very empty. Now, I must admit, as we're watching this, first of all, this came out on June 4th, so this is a while ago. And similar to like in Canada, you know, when the lockdown was lifted and we were in phase 1, everybody or a lot of people were wearing masks. And now as the weeks, you know, pass on, people are just like kind of bored with it and they're getting fed up and it's getting trickier to monitor. So I'd be curious to see what life is like right now in Malaysia. I'll have to check if there's another video we can look at. Anyone else notice how sparkly and clean everything is? I've always found my experience in many parts of malls and that kind of stuff in Malaysia is always very clean and tidy. Lots of people working to keep it that way. It's nice to see. You can see on the seats, it's like don't sit here trying to keep distance between people. That's wonderful. You know, as you see this, I can't help but think how much work it likely took to get the city ready for this. So you've got, you know, your frontline workers who've been working throughout all of this, and then you've got the people who work for the cities, who have to prepare, who work for the malls, who have to put the tape down, all of this. Like, this is no easy feat to transform a city to accommodate all of the people, and hopefully that they'll, you know, maintain their distance from one another. It's it's wild. The windows are required to open to ensure optimum air circulation in the vehicle for your kind undergoing. Interesting. So there's some protocols in place if you're taking a taxi, which, to be honest, I don't really take taxis, but I have considered, you know, like Ubers and things, and I'm wondering how that's working, so this is interesting.
Dan ini adalah protokol kesehatan di salah satu Grab yang pernah saya naiki. Drivernya.
Oh, is that a thermostat in the car? Interesting. So there's a thermostat on the back of the seat that people have to take their temperature before they even can go anywhere, which of course protects the driver from potential infection, right?
Saya sebelum diperbolehkan untuk naik dan jalan. Mungkin bisa kamu terapkan juga ya. Semenjak PKP diberlakukan di Malaysia sejak 18 Maret lalu hingga bulan Juni sekarang, kegiatan ibadah di tempat ibadah ditiadakan. Contohnya,
Definitely interesting to see how the city of Kuala Lumpur was opening back up since lockdown. Like I said, this was filmed on June 4th or posted on June 4th. So this is those preliminary stages. If you're in Malaysia right now, let me know in the comments, is it still like this? Do you find that places are not as populated? Like, are people still frequenting the shops, or are they staying home when they're finished work? Type of thing. Because I find where I live, which is outside of a main city, it's definitely like starting to, it feels normal-ish. You know, the restaurants have opened back up so people can sit outside of restaurants. I've been able to book a hair appointment, so my hair may change soon. But again, that's gonna look different, you know? You're wearing the mask. You know, I've been out to stores now. When I started filming and talking about lockdown and all of this, I had been very isolated. My husband was the one doing all of the shopping, so now I've been out to the shops. I do wear a mask every time I go out. My children wear masks when they go out. When I say out, though, I mean into public areas. If I'm simply walking my dog or riding my bike, I'm not wearing a mask. And the reason for that is I don't live in a heavily populated area, so I can maintain distance when I see people out on these walks. I have had a few social distance visits, so people coming to my home, sitting in the backyard, keeping 2 meters apart. It's tricky, it feels a little weird, but I mean, I'd rather visit and be following protocol than not visit at all, you know? I've had my dad, who is a bachelor and he lives in the city of Toronto. We've welcomed him into our bubble because he has very limited interaction with anybody. Same as us, when he goes to the store, masks, everything's sterilized, he's using hand sanitizer, all of those things. So it's nice to have him back into the fold. In fact, if you'd like, there's a video that we just did where we celebrated Father's Day all together. It was so fun. I'll link it up in the eye, whichever side that is, and then link below in the video description. It's fun. It feels so good to get back into this new normal. First of all, to share in the comments, where are you living, what country, and how are you finding it? Are you back to work? Are you doing all of the shopping? Are you finding it's just like no big deal to wear a mask, or are you taking issue with the mask? For me personally, I think that it's keeping myself safe, it's keeping my family safe, but I'm also keeping vulnerable members of my community safe, those who are at risk if they should come in contact with a virus of this nature. So anyway, this was fun to watch. It was neat to see what Malaysia is looking like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up. And also, if you're new and like to check out more videos, this video over here is the last video that I reacted to out of Malaysia. It's Malaysia's success story. And the video down here is a fun TikTok compilation if you want to see my face, but see it in a different way. It's pretty fun. Thanks for being here, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!